Welcome back to another week of Roommates with myself, Cardale Jones, and Tyvis Powell, brought to you by Lettermen Row. Follow those guys over at Twitter at Lettermen Row for all the latest and greatest Ohio State updates and news. And we missed you guys last week, Tyvis. What's been up with you? What's the latest and greatest going on with yourself?
Well, for me, I signed my contract to go to Canada. I'm
Okay.
gonna be leaving next week, next Friday.
Uh-huh.
It was a good time. Got to sit kicking with my dog for a whole couple of days doing the Buckeye cruise for cancer. Man, that was a nice little getaway. Me and Cardale had some games in basketball with some of the
Just
other
like that, just like the old
Buckeyes.
days. Just like the old days.
Look, man, we got it in. Listen, it was some good cardio. Cardale still got the shot, man. We end up winning the series the first game. Cardale and them end up tearing us up the next day, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was good to see all those guys: Johnny Dixon, Paris Campbell, Raquan McMillan, and Zeke, and other guys. That's always a good time at the Buckeye Cruise. We had an unbelievable time in Fort Lauderdale, and they raised a lot of money for cancer research. So definitely glad to be a part of that. And speaking of raising money for cancer research, softball games around the corner, July
Mm,
17th at Huntington Park. It sucks that you can't be there, but you
I
got
know.
bigger and better things to do other
I
than wasting
know.
your time running around
Waste my
a
time. What
baseball
do
a
you
baseball
mean?
field.
you talking
Wasting your
about you?
time.
You talking
Wasting
about
your
how we beat y'all last year? You
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about my
yeah.
clutch home runs in the
Oh
end?
my
Boy,
God,
I did
yeah.
look.
What
Did
you know?
I
What?
look good?
Yeah,
Look, took the shirt
whatever.
off and whatnot. I was acting
Whatever.
up.
Well, I'm excited to see a lot of the familiar Buckeye faces for my softball game here July 17th. Some new names to the list: Joey Galloway, Roy Hall, Paris Campbell,
Mm.
Jalen Holmes, and a bunch of other guys that's going to be joining us to help raise money for cancer research. So that's going to be exciting, and going to miss you, JT, and a couple of the guys this year. But hey, man, praying for the best up there in Canada, and definitely expecting some big things from you.
Oh, you know it.
And
I'm a deliver. Make sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
go cop my jersey because I got the
Come on,
cardio
man. You
XFL. So you
already
go
know. You
cop.
already know. Like I got to get one of those things, so that'll be good. But man, jumping onto this week's topic, man, one of the biggest things in college football this year, other than what players are staying and leaving and all the preseason hopefuls and Heisman hopefuls and all that crap, it's this NIL bill. And for Ohio, the Senate Bill 187, which will allow student athletes to get paid on a name, image, and likeness. Titus, I think this is going to be a real thing. I think we are in a day and age that NCAA is going to loosen up their grip a little bit on the student athletes and give them an opportunity to make money on themselves, just
You
as they're making money on these guys' backs.
you
What
know
do you think?
what? You know what I think? I think I have to quote the great LeBron James on this. It's about damn time. Okay, it's about
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I really wish that I wasn't born so early because I would have loved to have capitalized on such a thing. But you know, I think for Ohio to finally pass that and just to see
Well, it's not
players.
official yet. It's not official yet, but it's
Okay, let's
it's
say when hopefully it does, it
yeah, yeah.
should. It would be a great thing. Those guys will finally, get what they deserve. That hard work will start paying off. Uh, we would have raked up, kind of. We would have really.
Yeah, no.
We
Speaking
had
of,
some
we
personalities on that
no.
team for
We're
sure.
gonna definitely get to that question of what you think that we would have made or the opportunities that have been out there while we were in
Mm.
school. But you made a comment about these guys are finally able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness and their hard work on and off the field. But let's be honest, it's not going to be like the whole team and every starter is going to be getting paid big bucks.
No.
So one of the issues, and had an opportunity to speak and testify in front of the state house this week. One of the issues that came about, or one of the concerns that came about some of our representatives was how do they distinguish, or how do they tally up the money, or making sure it's equal with players? And Gene Smith made a great point. It's not a school thing. The school is staying out of the school. Only part at these universities in Ohio, I can't speak for other universities. I don't know what they're writing in their bills, but only part that Ohio State is going to play in this agreement, in this new venture of college football, is overseeing the contracts in a way just to make sure players understand what they're signing. They're not
Hmm.
they're Ohio State don't have the ability to deny a contract. They don't have the ability to, hey, you should ask for more of this and that. It's just to educate the guys on the contract. So when the representatives were asking questions about, the money being distributed equally, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Of course, your starting quarterback or your top athlete who's, face is going to be out there. It's going to get most likely paid more than a lineman that's a dominant lineman that's potentially a top 5 pick, but no one knows that guy, right? Because of simple, that's just how the sport goes. And the decision makers were worried about, hey, how do we keep that team atmosphere and eliminate and make sure jealousy don't creep into these universities, not just Ohio State, because it's not just about Ohio State, it's not just about football, it's about all student athletes and the college student athletes. Let's be clear there. High schoolers cannot take advantage of this, but it's all about all student athletes on all platforms when it comes to every university in Ohio having this ability to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness. But how do we keep that team atmosphere, and how do we eliminate the jealous factor? Because you're going to have, in some situations, you're going to have 17, 18-year-old come into school making hundreds of thousands of dollars before he even do anything because he was a highly recruited guy. And you're going to have that fifth-year senior who's been scrapping and clawing, who finally had an opportunity to get on the field for his 5th year and probably just not going to be making anything, or just going to be making, pennies on a dollar.
I honestly think that it brings out more competition. I'll tell you that for sure. I mean, that it's going to motivate people to, work harder to try to get those spots, so they can become those players where they become a big time player. I mean, it is what it is. But
you telling me the star lineman who's going to be projected top 5 pick isn't working harder than the star quarterback who's the face is out there, and he might be projected a top pick as well, but he's getting those dollars right then and there? So
it depends on the unit. It depends on the state. I mean, a lot of people appreciate great linemen play.
Yeah. But if you're a business, if you're a brand, and ball,
for sure.
Or
they should be taken care of before anybody does.
Yeah,
actually.
but ball. But if I'm a business and I want to sell my product, if I'm a restaurant, I want a restaurant's different, because if I'm a restaurant, I want people to eat. I'm a promote a lineman, come eat.
You better.
if I'm Mercedes Benz, I'm a local Mercedes. If I'm Jones Mercedes Benz and freaking and Hillier, Ohio, I'm Jones Mercedes Benz, and I want to sell these cars. You think who I'm gonna put in there? That top offensive lineman gonna be projected top pick, or that quarterback?
Probably that quarterback, because that's who everybody knows.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the quarterback position. If you take a snap at Ohio State and you're the quarterback, obviously you're gonna be the most famous guy on the team. That's just a given. I mean, but it just depends, though. I mean, what if that guy isn't a good role model? Like, what if he's not a good personality or something like that?
Yeah, but you don't run into those guys.
It's a lot of factors that's into it. So I don't think that it's gonna go the way you think. Like, for the most part, though, I would
it's going to be
for the most part, everybody would try to target the quarterback for sure.
Exactly, it's going to be a huge difference in the pay scale.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. But then another topic came up, because I can only imagine if this was around when we were in school, and clearly my first 2.5 years I didn't play a lick of ball, but I would like to think that my contributes to the team and the hard work I put in each and every day was contribute to the success of the defense. I would like to think that, because I used to film study the hell out of our opponent to try to be that quarterback.
For sure.
You know how hard it was to try to be Denard Robinson sometimes? Getting ready to play the team.
For you.
Exactly. So, I would like to think that, when I'm putting in extra work outside of the film study, being ready as the 3rd, 4th string quarterback at times, on doing our craft and our game week and how we're going to attack this defense, that whatever team we might be playing, I was actually putting in just as amount of effort and energy of emulating the other team's quarterback to get our defense rigged.
So it sounds like you're trying to figure out a way for it to be fair for everybody. So
I wouldn't say
as
fair,
so you're saying as the scout team quarterback, you felt you should have been at least a little bit compensated for your
I'm not
hard
saying,
works and efforts.
I'm not saying I should have been, but I can see with this new bill going into effect, because clearly, okay, let's put it like this. This bill is going into effect, and the players who's being productive on the field is going to capitalize on this. The players who's going scoring touchdowns and making sacks and interceptions. That's the people who are going to capitalize this, not the linebackers. I
feel like Josh Perry would have cleaned up.
Okay, well, I'm saying players that you're going to see the flashiness from are going to capitalize it. The ballers that you're going to see in the end zone dance on, these are the players who are going to capitalize this.
Yes.
But the capitalize the most. But
yes.
My thing is this. As a quarterback, as a scout team quarterback, a 3rd, 4th string quarterback, as being live every day in practice for 2.5 years, getting crushed and giving looks and really trying to run through guys in practice and giving them the best opportunity to prepare for this offense and this quarterback that we're facing. I would like to say, and I would like to feel, and I like to think that my hard work contributes to the success of the defense.
Okay.
And it's been times where, a guy like a Christian Bryant or Ryan Shazier or John Simon or Joey or something like that will come to me after practice or after a game week and say, you know what, hey, that play that y'all killed us on and you did a great fake, you really prepared for it. You see they try to run that and we stopped that. Yeah. And me personally, when the defense was on the field, it was hard for me not to pay attention because I want to see
how they do it.
Exactly.
Like if I did it better than they did it. Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah. So, it's going to be tough. It will never be fair.
It's not. At the end of the day, I understand what you're saying. The way you presenting it to me, you making it seem like it's like when you use the scout team thing, you make it seem like, every player should be compensated in some way. But then you switch it and say that, okay, you're not even talking about a scout team player. You're talking about like the starting outside linebacker who's not a big name, but he's on the field making plays. He's not a huge name. He won't make the same money that the starting quarterback would. I get that. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that I think personality comes into it. Who you are comes into it. And at the end of the day, like I say, some things is just not going to be fair. I mean, obviously the quarterback and the running back is obviously going to make the most money because, I mean, it's Ohio State and that's where everybody knows this quarterbacks and running backs. Nobody knows who the outside linebackers is or stuff like that, or who the starting nose tackle is, even though they might be the ones who do the hard work and take that you really need for the success. Exactly. The people won't actually they won't get the compensation that they deserve for their hard work, even though they should. I get where I'm here. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. But like I say, at the end of the day, it won't. I don't know. Like, I don't know how much money they're going to be making. I really don't.
Trust me.
I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we come to college, we get our education, but our ultimate goal is always to get to the NFL. So this right here, this is going to be chump change basically compared to what your real goal is. If your goal is to get to the NFL and make all this money, then you need to your play should be out of this world where you become that first round pick and you're going to get the money on the back end anyway. So it really don't even matter. You're going to get the money.
What you saying that right then and there. How many great college athletes go on to have unbelievable college careers and you really never hear from them afterwards, or they never have an opportunity to show what they can do at the next level and they kind of just fade away?
That happens very often.
I know. So now that's not going to be chump changes, guys. They put all the work. Guy like Tosh Boyd put all the work in opportunity. I mean, all the work and had all the success in college at Clemson, and actually, served us up our redshirt freshman year in the Orange Bowl, and did not have an opportunity.
Whoa!
He did.
Whoa!
Anyway,
I don't like that.
Anyway, but did not have a real opportunity to capitalize on his abilities in the NFL just because of we know how the NFL works. It's all about time and being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely,
and didn't have an opportunity to do that. But think about how much money he would have made, or it's thousands of other examples. I can give you the exact same way. So it's not going to be chump changes, guys. It's not going to be like, okay, just take this chump change and you have opportunity to do this. I think it's going to be great for these guys because you look at another guy too. I mean, I wish it was a way it was a salary cap too. No, I won't even say a salary cap. I wish it was a way that the university was paying the players, all of them, instead of just they name image like this, because we know this for sure. Just because you are back up at Ohio State don't mean you're not good enough to play. That guy might just be a step quicker than you or whatever, maybe older than you, because we know backups is good at Ohio State. It's good enough to be starters pretty much anywhere in the country.
Absolutely.
So it's not about your value.
Well, I think what you're struggling to figure out the answer to is probably what the NCAA was trying to figure out for the longest. How do every player get correctly compensated? And the answer will be there is no right answer. There will never ever be a right answer.
Right. It's not. I totally agree with you unless somewhere down the road they do away with the NCAA and in college become football players and athletes, especially these big money markets and teams become their own union and they're getting paid from the university. you know, but they also add into another element. You can get a guy cut and you take away a scholarship, stuff like that. But go back on your part when you made the comment about guys go to Ohio State, you know, for a great education and have opportunity to play in the NFL. That question came about as well. Because one of Ryan Day and Gene Smith issues was, or one thing they were pushing for, as you know, they testified and spoke in front of spoke at the State House Tuesday, was this will put us at Ohio State as a huge disadvantage if we don't pass this bill about X time, because these other states has passed this bill and they can use that as a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
Such as Michigan, such as Alabama. They say, hey, come here, you can take advantage of your name, image, or likeness, you can make X amount of dollars while you're here, and then let's just ice on the cake. If you have a great career, you have option to play in the NFL, make even more money. So I can see that's making us as a recruiting tool. And I actually got the question, and actually Ryan Day as well, is, you know, if that's used as a recruiting tool, you don't think that money aspect and jealousy aspect will be used in dirty recruiting? And Gene Smith made a hell of a point. He said, you know, it will be made at that point because it's money. It brings greed. Recruiting is not the cleanest game at all times. But he said we're not going to worry about that 3 to 4% that may of teams that may be doing that, when the other 97% of teams doing it the right way. So yeah, it's going to be used as a dirty tactic, but we can't control that. We're going to recruit guys that know who want to come to this university for a great education, for opportunity to be something bigger than them, and everything else will come then. Yeah. If that's money, if that's endorsements, if that's what NFL.
I feel. That's how I feel about it.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like, if you want to, you come to Ohio State because you want to, like you want to add to this great legacy. You know that they're going to prepare you. You're going to get the great education. You know they're going to prepare you for the next level. You know you're going to get the best coaching, and you know you legitimately could have a shot at achieving your all-time goal, and that's getting to the NFL. They're going to put you in the situation to get there. And I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for. I mean, the name, image, and likeness, that's just a plus. Like, that's just a bonus.
It's a huge bonus.
It's just a bonus. Like, Ohio, everybody in Columbus loves Ohio State. But I mean, everybody at the end of the day, don't let that money just like take you off your focus. You know, like, your focus is still to ultimately get to the next step in life, and that's the NFL.
Yeah, but you take it further. You take it a step further. Yeah, your ultimate goal is to get to NFL, and what's NFL? Have a great career, but make a shit ton of money as well, right?
Exactly.
So if I'm a guy and I can go to this school and I can make $800,000 for the next 3 to 4 years while I'm there, because I'm a top recruit, I'm gonna go and have a great career and be a great player. That's also great too. Versus if I go to a school in the state that has passed this law that they can do that, I can make $3.2 million in 4 years, versus a school may have a better program, but they don't have this bill in place. What school are you going to go to?
Depending on your situation.
Depending on the player as well. So that came about far as recruiting tactics. And Ryan Day, he answered the question perfectly. And it made me reflect on my time. If I was coming up to recruit through the recruitment process as a high schooler, picking a school, and he said, you know, we're going to do our best to recruit guys, not just great players, but great men that's not motivated by that.
Which they have at Ohio State.
Exactly, they have. And
the character at Ohio State is really unbelievable right now.
Exactly. So, and that was my point to him, because Ryan Day could have been in the NFL, so he see where money and contracts and greed come between the locker room and players and this and that. And so he said, hey, you know, that divide teams that lose this game, that loses championships and that lose runs. That's why, you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the first team in NFL history, the first team in over 50 years to bring back everybody from the championship year. And they have some contract issues to deal with, but they figured it out. Guys bit the bullet. Some guys take pay cuts because they take the bigger picture, right? Yeah. So the question came about, and I'm going to ask you this question. If name, image, and likeness was around when we was coming out of school, you was coming out of school, and Ohio did not have that bill in place, but Michigan did, would you still go to Ohio State?
Yeah,
I'm guaranteeing you $700,000 a year. Would you go on top of a free education?
It definitely made me think about it for sure. I tell you that. It make you think about it for sure.
Exactly.
Anybody that tell you different is a lie.
Exactly.
I would definitely think about it.
Yeah, that's why I told him. I said, hey, that's a great opportunity. That's a great way to put it. But I said, when I committed to Ohio State, I committed there for, reasons to,
I'm about to say I committed to Ohio State for totally different reasons than a lot of other
exactly.
people.
So it's hard to say I'm putting myself in this position where if it was all, it's tough. All the ifs are tough. But I committed there for the ability to play for a great program, or opportunity to play for a great program, a great education, and be a part of an unbelievable alumni base. Where I think they have been touching me in different lives and outside of football. I said that's one of the main reasons I committed to Ohio State.
Right.
Clearly, the money issue was. We wasn't even talking about this coming out of high school. It wasn't. This was light years away. I've been out of high school this year for 10 years. So fast forward 10 years now.
You too, because I graduated in 2011 myself.
Yeah, but we'd be at a point. Fast forward 10 years now. If you said we're at a point where these athletes better take advantage of name, image, and likeness, and now Ohio is not part of that group. Would you consider Penn State? Would you consider Team of North? Would you consider Alabama?
I'm sure they would definitely consider it for sure. My thing is what if it doesn't pan out? Is this okay? So my question is, how is they doing it? Okay, you sit down with a kid and you say Ohio didn't pass the law, but Pennsylvania did. Okay, and you come down, you say you could make $700,000 coming to Penn State. Ohio hasn't passed the law, so you can't make anything there. So as a kid, is it set in stone that I'm gonna make this $700,000 no matter what, or do I have to be this guy to make that money?
Well, if I'm think about it like this,
if you go do it and then you don't get no money, you don't get the $700,000.
Well, but think about you're gonna sign it when you sign it, telling you, hey, you're gonna sign this contract for X amount of dollars.
So they get the contract.
It's not the school though. It's not the school, but the school, because don't forget the school. Well, I know Ohio State is going to see every contract a player is going to sign before they sign it. They don't have any input on it though, as far as how much they should make, how long the terms are. They just want to educate them on the contract.
Okay.
So if Mercedes-Benz is this continuing relationship with top players and guys, and I got 6 guys a year with Mercedes-Benz contract because I'm seeing it now. I know I got a pipeline of connection with Mercedes-Benz as his business, and these guys, and they paying each of these players $200,000 a year, right, for promotion. Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to take that to a recruit. Okay, hey, I got Mercedes-Benz. I got Jones with Mercedes-Benz dishing out top guys and recruits $200,000 a year, and I got Kings dishing out 10 guys $100,000 a year, and I got Roosters dishing out $300,000 a year to 4 different guys.
Roosters.
I can make sure you're one of these guys just because of your name right now before you even touch the field, because we know you. We know you're gonna be that guy. That's what we're telling every recruit.
Okay, I'm about to say, am I?
Yeah, exactly. But we know you. But this is before you even touch the field. It's almost
that's
like
what I'm saying.
LeBron James when he signed a $100 million contract before he even touched the court.
It sounds good, but what if that recruit don't pan out? Do they
ain't nothing to do with me. They ain't nothing to do with me. As a coach and shit.
I'm saying, do the endorsements pull the endorsements?
Contract work. I'm gonna educate you on this contract. Hey, this is a guarantee, but
they go out there. They better make sure they educate them on these contracts.
It's gonna be just like any other endorsement deal. Hey, show up here or post, and I can see where this is really gonna take off. I think it's gonna take off on social media, where companies are gonna reach out to these
100%. That's
$10,000 to post this. I give you this, that to post this, and that's that. So that's where I think it's gonna really be capitalized on as far as their social media platforms, because the way they evaluate the players' work is by their social media followers. So adding up all their social medias. They add up all their social medias on all platforms, followers, and then 1,000 followers worth X amount of dollars. So it gives the players a starting point where to negotiate their own deals. The schools have nothing to do with this. The school can tell the player, hey, this is the worst deal we ever seen. Don't do it, or we think you should do it. And the players say, I don't care. I'm doing it. School say, you got it.
Yeah.
You letting these guys make some big boy decisions in their families.
It's time for them to grow up then.
Yeah, you just hope
all
these
you
guys...
can do, listen, you can talk to you blue in the face, but at the end of the day, they gonna do what they want to do.
They can do what they want to do. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited for players, and that's why I've been so vocal about it this last week and a half, the 2 weeks about not necessarily trying to push forward because it's not like I'm the decision maker, but I'm just being so vocal in my opinion when it has nothing to do with me and my time at Ohio State, because clearly we can't capitalize from it. But if we can make it better for these guys behind us, and I'm all for it.
The only two things that I could see, like the fans, from a fan standpoint, I can that they will probably say is, one, it's not fair, and two, that it might take away. They say it might take away from like the fun of the game or something like that, the love of the game, like that. Those would be like the two main concerns. And for what I would say to that is, one, for the fair part, well, the world isn't fair. Two, if anything, it's gonna make the game more competitive. I think that personally, because if you is the man, if you could become the man and you can get this much money, then you should work extra harder to become that man. So like now the position battles is crazy. Now I gotta get on the field and make some plays now.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't agree with a fan even thinking that, because it's going to take away from the game being fun.
Oh, but they
never really when you bring, I tell you something right now, for young men, young 20 to 30-year-old men, two things that's going to motivate them and going to compete for is women and money. So, and if you got the money, you're going to get the money. So I don't think it's going to take away from the game. I think it's, like you said, it's going to make it a little more exciting for the guys. And like I said, they was making some great points. Gene and Ryan was making some great points about, how some athletes can go about deals and things like that. I mean, I'm excited for the guys, but guess what? I know one things that came about with me. I thought about coaching and college football and things like that. You got me messed up now. Hell no. I'm all for the players, but if you think I want to be a freaking coach and deal with this right now, no freaking way. I would have retired. I'm all for it though as a player.
Cardale,
please. As a coach, you think I want to deal with that? I don't like.
It's part of the job. It's part of the gig.
Deal with. It's part of the job. Now it's part of the job.
You got to make sure that the kids you got to make sure that these players, doing everything you absolutely can to make sure that these players is prepared, not only for the football field, but for the real world. You got to make sure that their life is intact. You got to make sure they're doing.
You want to be all politically correct.
I'm just telling you.
Listen, you want to be all politically. Listen, Tyvis, save all that politically correct shit. If you think this NIL bill is about to keep these coaches up late at night, dealing with headaches of thinking about, okay, how do I keep the jealousy and greed out of my locker room? How do I make sure these off the field contracts don't have incentives on them on certain things? Who's to say a contract, which I hope it don't consist of some type of bounties?
You can't do that.
You can't do it in the contract, but if I'm whoever and I'm a company and I'm telling, hey, Joe Blow, the starting linebacker or the defense, if you take him out, I already got to deal with you for $100,000 a year, but if you take that guy out, I got another $10,000 cash for you. Nobody even see.
Well, see, then that's when the problem becomes.
That's what I'm saying. And who that problem lands on the desktop, that guy coach, them head coaches. So I don't want to deal with it as a coach. You got me messed up. I'm happy for the player, but the coaches, you guys finally getting a dose. You guys finally getting a dose of your own medicine when it comes to contracts and dealing with money and playing for money. So I'm excited for these coaches. I'm excited for these players. NCAA, I'm gonna applaud you guys. The last couple of years, I've been extremely vocal. Well, not really vocal publicly, but you know how I feel about the NCAA or something.
Yeah, we know. I think you've done an episode and you voiced your opinion.
So transfer portal and this NIL bill, hopefully Congress passes. And Ohio, I'm all for it, and I commend the NCAA for trying to get some power and financial power and money back into these players' hands to control their own destinies and futures. So that's all I got on it.
Oh, that's very well spoken. Cardale, if you want to one day, you want to run for office or something like that, you know, I would
I got your vote.
I will back you 100%, my guy.
Jones 2020, you heard it here first. Jones and Powell 2020, you heard it here first.
2020, that's past.
No, 2024. Okay,
there we go.
2024.
Got you, man.
We out here. We need to come up with a slogan. We have a slogan for the next episode for you guys.
Wait a minute. Before we end this, I got to say something.
Let me hear.
Couple episodes ago. Now I have to bring this up.
Oh my God!
I have to bring it out because this has nothing. I apologize to everybody that this has nothing to do with Ohio State. But Cardale got on this episode. He got on this episode and he scolded me. I say the Bucks is 6. You know, I said I got to ride with the Bucks, man. You know, Cardale. Oh! You think they got 3 players that score 90 points? They got 3 players. You think they got a chance against them? Oh! Not a moment. That you know. I was watching the game last week. You know, this game 7. You know, if nobody knows, the Bucks win 7 games with the Nets, the big bad Nets, the Monstars. If we shall,
I think we need to wrap this up.
Anyways, you know, they ended up winning the game. You know, it's just I'm a prophet now. With that being said, Hawks in 5. You know, I knew Trae Young was gonna go crazy. Bucks in 5. Excuse me. Bucks in 5. They're gonna win 4 straight. And they're gonna go to the finals against the Suns.
Oh my God. Okay, whatever. Well, congrats to the Bucks for that, for knocking my Nets out there. But there's a different story if Kyrie was healthy. But anyway,
what you're talking about is irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Whatever. Anyway, thank you for joining us another week of Roommates, brought to you by Lettermen Row. Follow those guys on Twitter over at Lettermen Row for all your latest and greatest Ohio State updates. And this will be a big week, man, for the NIL. I'm excited for the student athletes all across Ohio in all sports. And, you know, you guys are able to potentially be able to take advantage of the hard work you guys have been putting in on and off the field. So go Bucks to that. Cardale Jones, Tyvis Powell. Catch you guys next week.